Hello, friend and neighbor and stranger alike. My name is Chris Ringler. This is the Spooky Chris podcast. I am the aforementioned Spooky Chris. Thanks for joining me. This is my wee little podcast. I am an author, event coordinator, occasional artist type of person, opinionated, movie geek, and bona fide horror weirdo. I will preface this little podcast of mine by saying this is a more of a sentimental podcast, if you will. So if you are not into sentiment, if you are not into the holidays, if you are not into those things, if you would rather me rant and rave or talk about film or something, check back next time, man. This may not be for you. I hope you come back, but maybe, let me set this one out. So, it being the holidays, it's one of those things, weird things. I feel like, hey, I should probably say it's 2023. It's December. It's a few days before Christmas, and being as such, I'm here in my little cave, wrapping presents, and it all kinds of things come to mind. This is a very, not just obviously for me, but it's a very nostalgic time of year, which makes my mind turn to the idea of magic, and human need for it. Humans are a strange animal in that we are fueled by the need for hope, the hope in anything and everything. I hope I make this light. I hope I get the job. I hope I meet the love of my life. I hope, I don't get sick, whatever. And it's funny because when you pair I hope I make this light with, I hope I don't get sick. And it sounds petty, but hope is a big basket, and all kinds fit in it. And with hope, that's a sort of magic. And it's funny that we as a species that needs hope also need it to be supernatural, magic. That is, we need magic to come from the sky, from the stars, from beyond. We need it to be as if some invisible being touched us and graced us with something, as if a light from above came upon us and granted us this. We need, and it's part of it's kind of a weird need to be special. It's kind of like, I got lucky. I was graced with this sort of magic. And magic isn't luck. Magic is kind of that nebulous feeling that we ascribe to things greater than us. The sense of calm that you feel with faith is a sort of magic, because you believe it is a heavenly power, a divine power, a quote unquote supernatural power, bestowing upon you their grace and giving you a feeling of calm. Magic is when the stars, figuratively align and everything goes right in such a way that there's no way on earth this could have naturally happened. That the cogs and the wheels and the machinations of existence and life lined up, and you were there to benefit from it. Anything that seems beyond reason is a sort of magic. And while we need something like magic and hope to exist, because we need it to, even if we don't claim it, hope and magic are twins from the same womb. Even if we're like, I don't believe in those kind of things and magic doesn't exist and blah, blah, we still hope it exists. Because we want to, we want to think that maybe things can go right. Maybe things will get better. And beyond the idea of, well, if I just work hard, things would be better. If I am diligent, if I don't give up, if I keep doing what I'm doing, if I keep pushing, whatever. You know, we need something beyond that. We need this extra power. And as humans, we're always looking for magic. We're always looking for this other, this light from wherever. But it's funny that we miss that magic is man-made, is human-made, is people-made, is created by the species of human. Because it's and I'm not even going to be cynical and say, well, it's just an interpretation of chance in blah blah blah, because that takes away its power. Because of course, if you want to sum everything up, you can sum everything up in the tiniest particle, but it doesn't take away the wonder. There's it's funny. There's one of the things that people like to espouse from time to time from Fight Club, among the many things, is the whole you are not a snowflake. You are not unique. You are not, and it's that kind of mentality is very fascistic, and it's trying to, in the movie, it's trying to break you down and say like you are part of an entity, like blah 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 blah, and it's used in a militaristic way. And in the broad sense, yeah, we're all humans. We all crap. We all breathe. We eat. Blah 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 blah. But the millions of things that have to happen to make you who you are makes you the snowflake. Political nonsense taken away from the descriptor, because that's just stupid. So what you are is unique to you. You are one of one. You will only be one of one. That is the tragedy of human loss, is that there will never be a you again. Good, bad, indifferent. There will never, ever, ever be another one. And again, it's whether it's good, bad, or indifferent is kind of up to interpretation. Whatever. But our interpretation of things, our resilience, our ability to adapt, our ability to grow and to change, all of it's magic. And the holidays typify this. Now, I'm an atheist. I respect, the religions out there and all of that. And I respect Christianity during this time of year in that, I'm not going to sit around and I've never been one to sit there and get loud about my, lack of religion, because it doesn't matter. I don't feel a need to prove it, so I don't feel a need to be one of those idiots that's like, God is dead, you doesn't exist, blah 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 blah. It's just, that's not me. And it's sad that there's people like that, because the only person they're trying to convince is themselves. It's funny because they become the mirror opposite of the hardliners who are in the streets trying to forcefully make you convert you to whatever religion they are. Not the people that are just like, hey man, God is love. Just come on with us. Here, do you want to know? Do you need to talk to somebody? There's those people, but there's also the people that are just like, you're gonna go to hell and you'll burn unless you are saved right now. Because it's the people that are out in the streets that are just like, God is dead. You are an idiot. But they're the same. I mean, they're almost even the same religion, because they both rely on God either existing or not existing to kind of live their life. Silly. But this time of year, and it's it's interesting. It's because it's paired with the end of the year, the calendar year, so it's doubly stressful and wondrous. Stressful in that everything that you have, all the pressures that you have felt over the previous months intensify. Your loneliness grows because you see everyone happy and together and giving gifts and getting gifts, and you kind of buy into the social media falseness of it all. Like, no one's unhappy this time of year. Everyone's in love. And I am alone and unloved and miserable, and you don't see that nothing nothing works out the way it does on social media, where it's there's people are still arguing, they're still frustrated with one another, they're still mad, there's still issues. You only see that which you lack. All of your things that you interpret as a failure in your life. If you're just like, I couldn't do this, I never did this, everything intensifies because you feel again like it's that ticking clock, tick, 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 to midnight. And it's like another year gone and what did I do? And we can all play that game. We can all look at a list of manufactured things that, boy, I wish I could have done this and I would have done this and I would have done that. We all want to be better, faster, prettier, smarter, richer, whatever. Funnier, blah, blah, blah. We all want to strive to be the best self we can when that's a thing that it's the best us has never existed. So we don't know what it is yet. That's part of the meaning of life, is trying to be the best you and to find out what that is. But the magic of the season is the ability to forgive and the ability to love and the ability to look beyond yourself, the ability to hope, to think that things can change, the ability to help make things change, just the belief that for a few days you can get along with people that you never got along with before. And yeah, again, you can look at it, it's like, well, it's all fake. It's all us drunk on the season. And that's partially true. We are drinking our own stuff. We're kind of buying into the idea of it and like, whoa, I got to be a better person because, it's that time of year and blah, blah, blah. And we buy into kind of the hype of it all. But we have to buy into something, or nothing changes. And the hope is that we can change. The thing can change. Everything can change. That we can be inspired to reach out to someone we haven't talked to or that we were angry with. And we can try to bury the hatchet, and maybe we do. Maybe we don't. Maybe it blows up in our face and everything's worse. It happens. But there's beauty and magic in trying. There's a line from Adaptation, and I don't have it verbatim, but it has always stuck with me. When if you've never seen it, there's Nick Cage plays twin brothers, and the twins are talking, and they're talking about how one of them was desperately in love with this girl in high school, and he was so in love with her, and she thought he was a clown, and it broke him when he found out. And his brother tells him it doesn't matter what she felt. That love was yours, not hers. Your love for her was yours, and she could never take that from you. And that is love, and that is magic, because love is a circuit, and you hope that it's a completed circuit, but there's growth in looking beyond yourself and seeing something in someone that you wish you could touch, that you wish you could taste, that you wish you could be a part of. Not someone you want to bang, not someone that you think is cool and that will introduce you to cool people or is rich or whatever. It's someone that there's an essence to them that, man, what is that like? And it reverberates with you. And the belief in love is magic. Because how can we ever, especially after you've been hurt, after your heart's been crushed, how can you ever imagine putting yourself out there again like that? But we do. And every turn I can look at the opposite and say, well, but that's just chemistry and human blah blah. I get it. And those people will always exist who have to explain everything and take, there's a guy, I worked at a vitamin store. And there was a guy who always had to come in and just, he was mad because I would shave my head. Man, I wish I had your hair. I'd trade, because he was balding. And he was going on one day about how he didn't wear, and I can't remember why he talked about it, but like he he and his son or something didn't wear. They would wear kind of the vitamin store type of deodorant that didn't have a scent. It just kind of killed the germs. Because why do you want to smell like something you're not? And blah, 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 and blah, 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 nature. And it's that kind of a thing. It's like, I get the sentiment, like, you don't want the byproducts and this and that. But, like, sometimes you just want to smell pretty, man. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with him not wanting to. But his proselytizing about how people that want to smell, quote unquote, like something else, and how dumb it is in fact the dumb thing. Like, we can find a million reasons why Christmas is terrible if you want. And the biggest reason is how desperate it makes so many people, and how this time of year serves as a reminder of loneliness and loss and sadness. But the thing is that it doesn't have to be that way for everyone. Some things I wrote a blog about it. Like it's a longer topic than this. Some things can't be fixed by others. Like that's just a fact. Like, you have to sometimes fix it yourself, and it sucks, and it's not fair, but it's the way it is. But other people can help give you the tools to fix those things. That's why we go and see therapists. That's why we have friends. That's why we have significant others and lovers and family. It's because sometimes we can see ourselves through them once in a while. And that's what we can do is during these hard times, you can reach out to people if they're receptive and remind them they're not alone, and just say, hey man, if you need anything, I'm here. And if it's genuine, if it means something, it's a light, and magic lives in that light. And this season is all about light and all about holding up a candle against the darkness of war and murder and rape and misery that we are soak this, our day-to-day lives with, like so much blood. This inability to put our anger and our rage and our jealousy and our bigotry aside. This is the time of year that even the people that are faking it to some degree, because they become good Christians, and they're going to the church the one day of the year, and they're there's still an effort to some degree to change, to at least put on a face. And once in a while, you'll get somebody who will be touched enough that will start to change. And that's magic. Because you can, these are people like the people that grow up in bigotry and hate, that are surrounded by it, that are flooded with it. And either don't become that or break that cycle eventually in their lives. That's magic. It's not magic we think about, but it is. Because you are saying that after being hammered over and over again, that a certain type of person was evil and wrong and bad, that you refuse to see the world that way. That people that are in the LGBTQIA plus, in that community, that they can keep rage and hate out of their hearts, despite the fact that is what they are given so often, and that this American country of ours wants so desperately to take their rights and to keep telling them how wrong and terrible they are for being themselves. There's magic all over the place. And for me, I think, again, as someone who came from a place of no faith, I have so many good memories of this time of year. And I am blessed to be able to say that, because not everybody gets that opportunity. No, not everybody gets the childhood that I got. Not everybody gets, the capital G gifts that I got. It is very much a one of those things where it's you don't always realize or aren't always conscious of kind of how blessed you are. And the term is leaving me because we've kind of politicized it, like where just growing up in a certain thing, like, how dare you grow up that way? How dare you have a family that was different than other people's and in a different place? And it's a weird thing where we want to get mad because at one another because, like, well, I didn't get to that, so I'm mad at you, and that's not fair, and life is terrible because we don't see the pain that one another still goes through. We don't see the doubt, the self-loathing and all of that. We just see the thing that we wanted, and we focus on that, and we don't focus on anything else. But having all of these memories, memories of how my mother would forget presents every Christmas, almost every Christmas. Like, Christmas would end, and great, everybody happy, great, wait a minute. And she'd look around, she'd be like, did you get, oh no. And she'd get up and she'd rush off, and somebody, a lot of times me, she would have forgotten something. And it was really funny, and it was very charming. It's kind of a joke for us. One year, the big one was, when we went through everything, great. And my dad was like, wait a minute, Marilyn, are we missing something? And looking around, like, and then they had to rush off, and they got this big box out of the laundry room, and it was an Atari 5200. So imagine your parents forgetting a game system for Christmas. Like, wow. I one year had the kind of Ralphie Christmas from Christmas Story, where my dad got me a BB gun, and it was hidden behind a sofa. I remember going to see my sister around Christmas when she worked for Disney, and just being down there with her that time of year. And there was heartbreak too, because she wanted desperately to come home for Christmas. And I mean, you're angry. She's upset with our parents because they're not buying her a ticket, and everybody's upset. But I'm like, that's several $100s to drop like that, and you can't really be mad at them. But it was hard to leave her like that. But like, being able to be down there and spend some time with her was great. Times you spend with friends, with exes, just that stuff you share is it's magic. And it's not about, I love getting stuff. It's always, there's always, everybody loves presents, but it's the sharing of like you gave of yourself and they gave of themselves. And it's almost like a religious ritual. And it matters, and it's all magic. And that this time of year for some of us can give you that warmth in your heart with the music, the lights, the memories, that it becomes, it's the season. And Halloween has become that too for people like me, and maybe people like you, where it's different times of year. And I'm sure there's people like Easter or summer or whatever, where it's so significant because there's so much history to it that it's a palpable thing. It's magic because it reminds you of the beauty of this life. I mean, life is not the easiest thing, because there's so many things to juggle, especially, people who have like kids, and you're trying to make yourself happy, your significant other happy, your child happy. You're trying to keep a job. You're trying to pay bills. You're trying to get Christmas stuff. Like, there's so many things going on. And you're trying to juggle all of this at the same time and still try to kind of keep the magic alive, because it matters. And that magic is looking beyond yourself and past all of that stress and strain and sharing each other. And it's not just a Christmas thing, but it is a magic thing. I remember so many times when I was younger, a bunch of us would go to, in Flint, we had, there's the Capitol Theater. This big, beautiful theater they've renovated, and it's back up and running. But when it was on harder times, they would book hall shows in the front lobby. And a bunch of us would go down, and sometimes we'd go watch the show, and sometimes we'd just sit in the parking lot. And all of us would go and do that for a few hours and just screw around, or sometimes we'd be in the Capitol and just kind of sit around and hang out. And then afterwards, you go to a diner and you hang out for a couple more hours. And those times were magic because it was the first time where I had friends, like a group of friends, where I didn't feel like this weirdo and this loser and this outcast. I felt like I was part of something, and that was magic. And there's so many things that are magic, and you can drill down to the core of them and just like, well, but this was that, and that was this, and this is all fake, and this is all. And if that's what, if that's what you need to do, then I guess you do it. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to take away the power of the magic. I don't want to rob myself of that because sometimes that is the candle against the darkness that you need to get through. Just remembering of better times. And this is a season full of them. And full of that magic. And it's my hope that you have some magic in your life right now. And if you don't, I hope you have the strength to reach out to people that maybe can help remind you of the magic or pass on a candle that will keep you going a little longer until you can kind of find the magic on your own. My friend, I will talk to you soon. You can find all of my blogs at spookychris.com, all of my podcasts, all of my books for sale. Holy cow, there's so many books, so many words, so many words. Whatever you believe, whatever you do, I hope this is a good time for you. You take care, sir, ma'am, person I don't know. Stay weird.